Alright guys, I'm here at Charlie's Cafe, another episode of Real Food First, and today I'm talking about smoothies, which doesn't sound like real food, I know. There's times when real food gets difficult, so what do? How do we work our way around that, yet still try and maintain nutrient density, the highest quality resources that we can find, but we can take advantage of some convenience. You know, the tendency is for people when they think about convenience is, you know, they're running over to a fast food place. And again, we could probably do a video about what to get when you go there. But for now, we want to make sure that if you're in your house, nighttime snack is a great time for a smoothie. Some people start them in the mornings. I'm not a huge fan of smoothies in the morning, but again, if you're doing it the right way, you can make this work for you. So this is super easy, super fast. I'm going to share with you one of my favorites, which is just chocolate. I'm a big fan of chocolate, and it does solve the sugar fix if you feel like you need that. So what are we going to start with? We've got a blender, and it can be any blender. You could use a hand blender. We've got a Blend Tech. Home we've got, again, I'm going to blank out on the best blender in the world, but that's the one that we have. Here we've got the Blend Tech, and it'll come to me as we go through here. So I'm going to share with you what we use. So this is diesel. We use diesel. Now you can get a lower quality version of this at Walmart. This is a whey isolate, so you can get a concentrate version. I like diesel. I've tried a lot of different brands of whey protein, and I've always come back to this one. It always seems to be the best. It is sweetened with stevia, which I like. It's a great source of whole food proteins. It is nut-free, peanut-free, lactose-free, gluten-free, and it tastes great. So I use the vanilla. Even if I want chocolate, which I'm doing today, I'll use the vanilla, but then I'll actually add cocoa to it. So let me show you how we make this. It's super easy, super fast. One scoop's about 25 grams of protein. Lots of good stuff with whey protein. Now, if you have a dairy allergy, depending on how severe it is, you may want to go away from this. I know Dana, my wife, can't do dairy, but what we'll do is a beef protein. I know that doesn't sound tasty, but it is. We use the carnivore brand. And if you're gonna go vegan or go with a non-animal food source, I'm not gonna be your best resource for that, but I'm sure somebody can share with you what they think the best source is. I'm still a big believer in healthy animal products, and you know, again, that's the position we take. There's ways around that, but that would be my first choice. So we're gonna use the diesel. I use 2 scoops. I want 50 grams of protein. I target about 200 grams of protein a day. Probably more, another video going in depth on that again and why, but for today we're gonna make it simple. I've got 50 grams of protein. I'm gonna add, this is my secret ingredient, salt. If you think about a salted, salted caramel flavor, a salted chocolate type flavor, I'm gonna add in my cocoa, and we'll find that. So I've got the cocoa. I'll do a tablespoon or 2, but usually what happens is it just falls in, and it's usually far more than that, as you can see. So I'll do about a tablespoon or 2. Then I'm going to use coconut milk, unsweetened. So whatever the nut milks are, we recommend unsweetened. So coconut milk, almond milk, cashew milk. You could do oat milk. Oat milk tends to be a little more sweetened, just naturally. But for the kids, they tend to like the oat milk as well. And if you're not doing dairy, which, you know, the only dairy that I particularly do is the whey protein, some hard cheeses, and Greek yogurt, butter, cream. Stay away from milk and pasteurized milk products. Another video probably. So we'll put all that in, and then we need ice. So about a cup of ice, and then we're gonna blend this sucker up. And it's really that simple. Make sure the blender's closed up. That could be a problem. So go ahead here. One of the important parts here is when you're blending, make sure that you blend long enough. I find a lot of people don't blend enough. The ice doesn't get chopped up, and you start to actually have to drink ice cubes, which isn't ideal. So I'm going to blend. It's usually about a minute, maybe 40 seconds. I can hear if there's more ice in there, and there's not. So I'll turn that off. We should be good to go. Let's take a look. All right, we'll put that in the sink, clean that later. And I'm going to need a cup for that. And if you're doing a big serving of protein, I actually like to use a coffee carafe. We'll pour that in, and there's my chocolate protein smoothie. I could have added some collagen in there if I wanted to. If you wanted to do berries, you could. I tend to stay away from those. We'll do some other shakes along the way and smoothies along the way that we like, but that's a really easy, basic, I call that the double chocolate salted caramel protein smoothie, right? Real food first, make it a great day.